Okay, so tonight we are going to do 3 different things, hopefully, if we don't run out of time. The first thing, we're going to go over to Winchell Skybox in Language Lab, not Language Lab, sorry, Learn It Town. And Winchell's going to share some of her games and have a talk about what you can do with games. And then we're going to come back here, and this box by the side of me, absolutely all the resources you need to make this game that is actually behind me. So this game here, it's a game about giving your opinion. Now, if you look at it, it's both a reading exercise, because you can read the statements that are on the board. It's a listening exercise, because animal testing should be legal is one of those up in the top polls. They've all got statements to listen to. In the middle, you've got 2 spheres, and they've both got note card givers. One's giving instructions. Oh, Simonetta, you're hearing an echo. Are you in the Adobe room, Simonetta? Are you in the Adobe room? No, can't be. There isn't an echo here, so I'm trying to think where you might have got it from. Hi, Vals. Any thoughts, anybody?
Don't know.
Ah, you're in the Adobe room. Okay, at the top of the Adobe room, where there's a speaker, just click on that, Simonetto, and switch off the sound in the Adobe room. Nick sees double. That's not good. I can't explain that.
I understand to me, but I can't understand what you're saying to me.
Okay, at the top menu in the Adobe room, there is a speaker icon. Click on that to switch sound off. Can you see that, Simonetto? Have you found it? Hi, Pink. Okay, hopefully Simonetta will see that now. So we've got all the resources. So when we come back here, we're going to compile this game. So you've got a possible speaking, listening, talking, writing game that you're all going to actually make. You've got all the resources. You're just going to compile it from all the skills you've learned so far. Hopefully I won't have to help you, but if you need help, I'll be here, and so will all the rest of the moderators to help you with any little problems. Okay, I am not thinking of anybody now that's missing. Let me just ask the other moderators, is there anybody obviously missing? Anybody? Hi, Stella. It is Pink Samurai. Heike will share the link with you any second. And then you'll be able to listen there if you want to. Okay, so we are going to start to move over now to Winchell Skybox so that we can look at Winchell's games and have our first talk over there. We'll probably be over there about half an hour. So,
and I'm going to do a little introduction beforehand, before we actually go over there.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll hand over to Winchell then.
Okay. So can everybody hear me? Is my voice loud enough?
Yep.
That's okay.
Let me know if you have any problems or questions. I'm going to take you over to my school, Learn It Town, and we're going to go above the school to the Sky platform, because that's where I do a lot of my building, and it's where we take people who don't have a very good connection because it's very low prim usually. I've got everything out today, so it's not. So Learn It Town is basically a school that we inherited a lot of students from Language Lab, and we just kept some of them. And now 3 of us are running the school. And what we do is we do strictly synchronous teaching. We do not have anything self-driven in our school area. We use Canvas for all asynchronous learning. So what we focus on is synchronous learning, where you can come, you can learn to talk, but you can be monitored by people who can help you improve your English. So just so you know, if you go around and click on things and nothing's happening, they're mainly for our subscribers, and things won't work for non-subscribers, and it's not meant to be done alone. It's meant to be done in the class and monitored. We're not doing any development for asynchronous learning at this time. So, but because we feel people want to come back to the one-on-one and to the group and to be with people, and you can't learn a language asynchronously. It just isn't going to happen for you. So that's what we feel our thrust is. So what we've done is we've developed a little startup. It's based on Lean Startup. We haven't put any money into it. We experiment, and we're treading water until the market is ready. We have gathered people over time. We've kept people who were with us before when we were Language Lab, and they will not leave. So once people are in, they stay, and they understand the importance of language learning this way. They have experienced it. So the issues now are waiting till the market's ready and getting people in. It's hard to grow. So getting people in gradually, and then they become totally evangelists. And we're working at universities to try to create more evangelists as well. So that's just to let you know what Learn It Town's all about, because we are running on a shoestring, and I was with the company before, and we got $3 million, and we had Hillary Clinton come and launch our website, and we had 1 million visitors, and we spent $3 million because there was no real revenue stream during the dot-com bubble. So I've refused to take any money until we have a real revenue stream. That's why we're very low budget, low key, kind of work with our students are our friends, and we have just as much as we can handle right now, but we are looking to grow. And it's hard to grow, and we've been working with companies who have, we've been working with companies and doing demonstrations for very big contracts with very big companies. But getting those deals closed has not been easy. So I now empathize with Language Lab's difficulties, and now this other company is having problems. They're wonderful salespeople. They do everything right, but when it comes to the money man and making the deal, closing the deal is really hard. And we found that too, working with car companies. Everyone's very excited. So we know it's coming. We're just treading water here and experimenting and improving. So that's our philosophy. Now, when I take you up to the Sky platform, where I put out all of these games I've developed, and they're all around voice. So using voice, which is what Carol's teaching today. Now, just remember that we would not really be pulling these out at the same time. This is strictly for demonstration purposes, so that you can run around, brainstorm, get some inspiration, and see the kinds of activities you might like to create. Now, mine are not really games. They're activities. They're non-competitive activities. So they might be, you won't see any quests, but we have a lot of non-competitive activities that teach language. So when I tried to put things far enough apart, and you're just going to go run around and see if you can figure out what's what. But just be aware that the cacophony of sound you're going to hear, and you can turn your sound down a little so you don't hear so far into the distance, and then just go around and figure out what's going on and what I have done. And I've used them all with students now, so they're very successful. Some I've used for years. So just remember one thing: when you hear the cacophony, you're not going to have all these around. You're going to bring one activity out at a time and then cycle through that activity. So before we go over there, are there any questions? We're leaving our island open, and before you leave, I'll give you a landmark to the city down below. And you can just go around and see those are all classrooms that we hold, but they are monitored lessons. So in order to get things to work, you have to have a teacher there. Okay, any questions? Okay, so what you can do is you can just wander around, read the instructions. You might want to turn your sound down so you're not hearing sound far in the distance. Make sure everyone has their sound on so you can hear, and it's all about voice. So just wander around for a while, make some notes, see if there's anything you would like to do. And this is pretty much one theme. Sound!
Who had died while he was drinking? It was no one I had heard of.
And if you fall off the edge, give me an I am. I'll bring you back up. And I'm going to give everybody a landmark to the city down below if you ever feel like coming. I'm here for questions. Now tell me if you're not hearing sound. Because each of these should have sound. Yeah, everything has sound except the board games and the verb games. Yes, everyone should be able to hear, so you need to adjust your sound, media. Let me see what else. If you go to the upper right corner, you can adjust your master sound. I would turn up sounds. And I might even turn up media. I think it's under sounds, to tell you the truth. Okay. So you're just going to run around. It's a playground. Try not to be distracted by the cacophony. Yeah, you're hearing a Suzanne Vega song. That's right. And now if you go up to the boards, you can usually get some information, like you click on the balls and they will give you some instructions.
This rain it will continue. Oh, this rain it. And I look the other way as they are kissing.
You know, you might want to visit different places and then come back and just have one or two of you, because there's so many things to examine here. It would be best for you all to be on a different one. Walking around, total physical response activity. You're always moving and doing something. You get your instructions and then you go and you do what it tells you to do. And this is when we were studying people, places, and things for the lower levels.
Our windows shook.
So I think this is my favorite, this one here. And I'm going to finish the yellow one and the green one, because it's people, places, and things. And I wanted to have lots of activities that this would take an hour or two for a lower level student to get through.
Of a bald man and a brunette with shoulder-length Go to hair. The blue book go stand and find on a picture of a person that has a picture with a disability of an ugly criminal.
So now if you have a team, two teams of 2 or 3 or even 4, they play against each other and they go number 1. Only one tile is touched at a time, and then they work it out as a team. You know, they negotiate who's going to speak, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. And then they just get through it. It's quite a long activity. It'll take you a long time to complete. And then you see, you go to discs in the back. Do you see the discs in the back over here? So there are things in these boxes you have to go, you're ordered to go either give a speech at the podium, click on a box to get your orders, or go find the picture that's on one of the discs. So go find a happy person, go find an ugly criminal.
I couldn't possibly find an ugly person. No.
Go to the blue book and find a picture of a bald man and a brunette with shoulder-length hair. Go to the blue book and find a picture of a person with long blonde curly hair. What do you need when you want to take an airplane? What do you need when you want to take an airplane? Go to the podium and describe your mother or your father. When you want to go swim. What do you need when you want to go swim? What do you need? Go to the blue book and find a picture of a person. Go to the blue wearing round and
So these, I think these had all simple past and past participle irregular verbs, and I turned one on, and you'll notice in chat, I couldn't change it completely, but it'll give you a, it says trivia, it means nothing, but the first verb will be showing. So this is verb set 1, and it's awake. Then you have to come up, you have to type in the simple past and the past participle. It will give you the answers, or it will tell you you're the winner. And so we can sit around a table and do this, and then I turn it off, click, and then we go on to the next one, the next set. And then you'll start seeing appear in the chat another race for verbs. So that is a competitive thing that we do in class when we're trying to really have a verb boot camp. Okay, now let's see, where else can I take you? Okay, let me take you over here. Let's go to, let's see what we would do with these songs. So we have we have bubbles here that contain the close exercise that you would want 2 students working on this and walking around with their note card and trying to stitch the song together and get the missing words. And then the blue ball you can click on to get the answers. And then you have all of the phonetics pulled out on the board. So if you want to practice your phonetics with a teacher, it's a good way to learn English and learn English idioms, learn songs, figure out where the idioms are and what the songs mean, and then study the phonetics of the song. I've had a lot of luck with this. So we were actually going to put these pieces all over town and make it a search. And you had to find the tile. And they were going to be on the streets of Learn Town all over. And people have to find them. And they have to find all the words and make a note of which ones they found. So we were going to hide some of them and, you know, just go around town. That was one of our field trip ideas. Okay, so that would be songs. And the only reason I use Suzanne Vega is she's the absolute perfect example of the song you would want to have in an ESL, EFL classroom, because everybody understands it, and it's just, it's a total success. Okay, let's go over to questions and answers. You have questions and do support. And then you have the answers for no. No, I do not like to do that. And then you have the same answers for yes. Yes, I do like to do that. I do like to go swimming. So what you need to do is you need to find the question that matches the answer. And you'll see there are two bubbles down at the end with note cards. Okay? And these are what you would fill out. So if you click on the red ball, you'll get one note card. So you can go through all the no's on one note card, and you can go through all the yeses on another note card, and then you're going to put the tile, is it tile H that matches? So you're going to put the information of the two matching tiles. So that's just a matching activity. Okay? Taking it off the book and putting it into 3D. All right. Any questions on this?
Hamburgers. What is your favorite food?
Okay. Let me know if my sound is okay. All right. Now let's go out to a really low level. I fixed a little, oops, sorry. I fixed a little beach area here because we have these down on our beach for teaching lower level students.
Like coffee? Restaurants?
Then it would be their first class.
Do you like hamburgers?
So you can walk up the steps.
Do you like sports?
When we went to the beach in a lesson, and you want people to come away with maybe a dozen new vocabulary items.
This is a beach. She is swimming. This is a rock. This is a seashell. This is a sea. The man is a seashell. This is a seashell. This is a seashell. The man is a she is swimming. The man is a man. This is fishing. This is a beach. This is a fishing. This is a seashell. The man is fishing. This is a beach. The man is a seashell. This is a man is fishing. The man is fishing. This is a beach. The man is fishing. This is a seashell. This is the man is swimming. Is a beach. The man is fishing. The man is fishing. Is a beach. She is swimming.
Okay, so I think you could see you could probably make all kinds of activities here. You could make, right and wrong answers, right? So have them work in two so they can negotiate a sentence that describes what they understood, because they may not understand this yet. All right, now let's go to the next activity. Where am I going? I'm too far away from myself to be a very good walker today. Oh, let's go to the sentence part. So this will be sentence matching. Over here, you'll see green tiles. Okay? And so you are going to find the match. So the green and the white have partners. And so what you'll do is you'll stand on the green one, and then you'll choose the correct and click on the match you think works.
We were sitting in a cafe because several ambulances were arriving. Was flying too low. Because several ambulances were arriving.
Good. Okay, so you can actually click on the one you think it is, and it'll come to you.
Was sinking. The boat was sinking. The boat was sinking when a big ship came to the rescue on the beach. The boat was sinking when he saw the robber. We were sitting in a cafe.
Okay, so this is something where a teacher would want to tell you if you have the wrong answer or the right answer, or they could turn in a sheet. But I prefer giving immediate feedback, so I would just stand here and give them some cues.
I didn't hear what you said.
Okay, let's go to a lower one. That's a higher activity. Let's go to another lower one. Okay, let's go. Well, actually, this is a little higher level one. Let's go over here.
I saw the beautiful California.
We'll go back to the shapes.
When the green light was walking.
I'm walking funny today. Look at me. I'm zigzagging. Okay. Now there are instructions here too, so you feel free to come back at any time. Now this one is identifying shapes because sometimes we use these shapes to describe other things. And click on it, click on the item. You're going to be asked to move an item, click on it, and it will come hither.
This is a cylinder. Yes, I like.
Okay, click on the cube.
My favorite drink is hot chocolate. This is a cube. This is a spiral. This is a spiral. This is a circle.
So you see, this is an ellipse. And then the teacher would stand here and monitor and give you feedback. And you'd even have your fellow students say, is that correct? I don't think that's a cube. Can you still hear me?
This is a cone. Yes, okay.
Oh, you can hear me, gents?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, good.
Yes, that's very
Okay.
good.
Okay, now let's go to another one. And you can always come back here. Okay.
This is
we're going to walk by the bubbles for a minute. We'll walk by that one because that's a different technique, but I want you to come over and see an activity for another low-level group. So we're going to go past here, but we'll come back. Oh, come on, walk straight. What is wrong with you? Are you drunk? Okay, here we go. Okay, so I want you to walk on these circles here. And these are for much lower level. And then you work with a partner and you answer. You might even write your answers. And then we go over it together.
What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need?
Now, if you wanted this to be competitive, you could make it a race.
What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need? What do you need when you want to dance? What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need when you feel sleepy? What do you need when you have a headache? What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need? What do you need when you are thirsty? What do you need when you are thirsty? When it is raining.
Now, eventually imagine if you could get some true-false statements in there and it could tell them that it's the wrong answer. Then you could do it as an asynchronous activity.
When you want to take an airplane.
But I don't know how to do that.
When you are thirsty. What do you need when you are thirsty? To take an when you want to go swimming. What do you need when you are thirsty? To take an airplane. When it is
Okay, we have one more activity to examine. So why don't you follow me?
When you want to take an airplane. What do you need?
Okay.
What do you need when you want to take an air? What do you need when you want to go skiing? When you want to take an airplane? What do you need when
Okay.
you want to take an airplane? What do you need when you want to go
So this is the, I call it Bubbles activity because it was fun when we did it for years and years and years in class, and it was really delightful. Students really learned a lot, and I've done a lot of research with my Learn It Town students, and we start out with words, and it's very difficult for them, and then we move into sentences and sentence stress. And they told me that in about 2 months they learn it and they don't need to go over it again. They just internalize it and it works for them. It's a really good way of analyzing the beats, the rhythm. Okay, so this is a little more complicated, but you see samples up there on the board, and those are the correct locations, the correct rows. And then you see a list of words. And what you want to do is you want to move the balls around until they represent the pattern of that particular word. Now you'll see on the left you've got lots of patterns. It is definitely one of these patterns on the left. So by clapping your hands or tapping your feet or tapping a pencil, you can kind of figure this out. And once you do this and you do it again and again and again, it will really improve your English. The whole prosody element of English really needs to be worked on more by teachers. So see if you can move some of these balls around and put them in a different position. Choose a word and see if you can get that word. Now, they all have different. Some balls you may have to leave out. And my students just love this. My husband can't do it. He's American. He fails. So if you right-click and edit and move things around, and I would just pull on the horizontal arrow. So what I do is I get a whole class doing this. So you might have 6, 7 students, and they all have their own set, and they learn to move it around. They're pretty good. They learn pretty quickly. We've lost a couple over the edge. But generally speaking, it keeps them very well satisfied. At the very beginning, it's quite frustrating for them. And then they start seeing they learn it. They really learn it. And then I said, okay, now we're bringing in sentences, but you have to find neutral sentences. And they do really well. I've never seen such progress with so little, such an easy step to create the idea of stress, because different stress exists in different languages. So this really helped me. I've been using this for about 20 years now. Okay, I think that's all I have to show you. You know the principles now. This is what can be done with voice. Any questions?
I think we're all most impressed. Thank you.
And if you see you can take copies of things, don't take things, but if you see you can take copies, I had a permissions nightmare just like Carol did, and I kept swearing everything was full prim, and I wanted to give these things away. So take whatever you can. If you group them up and can right-click and take a copy, that would be great. Anything you want. But if you can't get them, or if things are missing when you pull them in, it's because they're not full perm anymore. Ah! Okay, well, if we don't have any questions, we can return to the sandbox. Feel free to come up here and look around. I'm going to leave this stuff up for a while. We're leaving our island open. Usually it's only open to subscribers, but we're going to leave the island open for the whole time of EVO. And actually, let me give you all a landmark down to the main city. You're welcome back to come and have a look around. Hang on one second. Learn it down. Learn it down. Let's see. A landmark. Oh, here's a good place to land where the helicopter, to teleport. Okay, so I'm going to send you to the helicopter station because that's really near the entrance. So I'm going to share this landmark. And I believe, yeah, it says Learn It Town. Get everybody. Okay, so now you all have a landmark into Learn It Town. It will be open for the next 5 weeks. If you come and you can't get in, just let me know. It means they've closed the SAM again, but I will put you in a group so you can go in anytime. So just use this time when it's open to come over, see if you can take some copies. Oh, I also wanted to show you one other thing. I want to show you my holodeck activity, so hang on. All right. Can anyone hear me from up here, or am I out of voice range?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I'm just showing what our surrounds looked like. So here's a surround of the Grand Canyon. Has it rezzed for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Let me just give you a couple samples. Okay. We were in the beautiful field. You can then go into something like a Stonehenge situation. They're all surrounds, and then you can do all kinds of role play and imaginings if you're writing story. Okay, the next one I'll show you is an urban scene. And so we might write stories, and we'll start the story. It all started in a city. Okay, who's the woman going to be? Somebody else come up with the woman. Okay, so what happened in the city and what made her leave the city? You know, so we'll start writing. And then you can go underwater. Are they rezzing very quickly for you? Okay. Can you see them?
Yeah, I can see them.
Okay, and now here's the last one. And that's CGI, so they give you some CGI. But I've had a lot of fun with these, and they really make good atmosphere up here because it's a kind of a low prim area up here. If I take these toys away, and I can get my low bandwidth people up here doing things, and then I just make a surround, and it's kind of like, even if they can't walk around and do a lot of things, it can make it feel like things are changing around them. So if I change the surround and we're writing chapters, it's kind of fun. Yeah, we're the only people here. We don't have any classes on weekends. We do have a man who comes in and does current events classes once on Saturday and once on Sunday, but we don't, that was one of our rules. We want our weekends off. And we can do it because we're the boss. Other questions? Any feedback? Okay, I think we can return. So you'll notice there are a few of those, what are they called? The teleport stations, but they have something else, another name. And that's how we can get back to the sandbox. And I'd like to sit down for a few minutes and do some brainstorming because we have 10 minutes left. And what we'll do is we'll just sit down and see what ideas, what did you think, what are your ideas, and let's just sit around and chat for a few minutes, okay? So if you'll follow me, let's go over to this teleport
What do you
area.
need when you are thirsty?
Okay.
What do you need?
Okay, so I'll wait here to make sure everybody goes
What do
back.
you need when
This will
you
take
are
you back to
thirsty?
the sandbox.
Yeah, everybody's here.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a follow-up from your earlier visit with Eva, or I'm not sure who's taking it.
Winchell.
Eva, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Winchell. Eva.
Yeah, Eva's talking.
Okay.
Okay, so what did you guys think of the activities up there? They're
We hear you.
very... You do? Yes?
I cannot talk to my colleague.
Oh.
I don't know why.
So this was all around...
Now, should I accept the teleport?
Yes.
Are people writing in private chat? No?
If you have any questions. Okay, let's just have some feedback on what you saw, because those were all about talking assets. And they were really more activities that you would do in class than do alone. And there wasn't a lot of competition. They weren't really games, they were more activity. You could turn them into games and competitions by making teams.
I think I really enjoyed them, but you can see that it really depends on a very skilled teacher who knows what the materials can do, and you know, the learners would need to be guided. But I think they probably could work quite easily with people who weren't that familiar with Second Life, because they were quite easy instructions.
Yeah, not much to do. Just developing listening skills and getting teacher feedback on accuracy, and then going off to do an activity that actually implements that part, because that's you want to do a little presentation, then you want to do a little demonstration, and then you want to get them moving and acting as soon as possible. So any other comments? So let's think about ideas. What are some ideas that came to you when you were looking at all the games Carol presented and all the ones you saw on Barbara's platform and my platform? What's coming to your mind? What's brewing? Anybody have any ideas?
I think they work really well. It's me again. With people who kind of like that board game sort of approach. I don't mean who like board games, but I'm just wondering, there might be, I mean, I think within Second Life there's probably scope for actually walking around and moving around and exploring. And so I would have, you know, that's what was missing for me, was sort of in environments where you could walk around and explore inside a house, for example, and find out what the things inside it were. It was much more a board game oriented, right. You know?
Very strictly a board game that we covered, nothing else. But we will be covering maze, and we will be covering other kind of scavenger hunts and things like that. So this is just one little slim piece of the pie. Anybody else having any good ideas of what you would like to do? Projects brewing? Yeah, for some reason the intonation activity, thank you for your comment, the intonation activity is very effective, and my students claim that after a good month of doing it, they'll never need to do it again, and it sort of internalized certain patterns, because we don't have that many unless we're manipulating them, but in general it really improved a lot of the intonational patterns of their speaking. Well, this is for sentence construction. You get sentence fragments and putting them together, because we're starting to work with a certain group on more complex sentences and embedded structures. And you could do these as self-practice, but there's no one there really to help you, to tell you when you're correct or not. If I could learn some of the true-false coding that I would need, maybe the pieces wouldn't even move unless it was you're choosing the correct piece. So that would be my next step. I'm a beginner.
Quivinus, there's take the green box, the 2 green boxes in the corner of the sandbox. That is a maze, and you can just set a set of questions. And if they get the question right, you'll have to put the right answer in the script, but it's all written out instructions for you. And that's all set up ready. You can have a go at that anytime you like.
Yes, Pink Samurai, you can do lots of adaptation. Oh, there's no end. Once your brain starts going, you'll see all kinds of games out there that can be adapted to 3D. And a lot of the principles of brick and mortar games can be brought into Second Life too. And a lot of the activities we see in books can be built into 3D. The idea is matching, ranking. Except hopefully you're moving things around. So what do you think, Anne? What do you want to build? How about you, Ida Jot? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, sorry, my son was shouting, so I turned my mic off. Our favourite game in our house is a game called Labyrinth, and it's a maze game, but you move the pieces around and the maze changes all the time. But it just made me think that mazes are such a natural kind of game-like activity that fit Second Life. So that's what I was, I was just thinking of a hedge-type maze, but within it are sort of 20 things, but you have to find the 10 that are correct. So, 10 polite phrases, and so there'll be 10 polite and 10 impolite phrases. And I was imagined it being done by a pair, somebody on the outside.
Right. Now that's the thing we did. We put one partner above the maze and the other partner down in the maze, and the partner above could see how to get out, and they would have to use their words to describe which way to go.
All right. I was wondering whether the mini-map is probably too small, is it, for being able to see if somebody's going in the right direction?
Probably.
Something that had quite long corridors,
yeah, you want to be right above. We built the platform. We just put a platform people were standing on, and then it was chaos because different partners were going different ways, and they'd be yelling, "No, turn around, go back. You're going the wrong way." So there's a lot of interaction.
There's a completely free steampunk maze that is like in a holodeck, so you can just res it. You don't have to have the holodeck to buy the maze. You can res it from a box. And it's got a glass roof. You can touch it and it goes a solid roof so nobody can see it, or touch it again and it goes glass, so the partners can be up on top and again tell the partner which way they've got to go. But that I'm pretty sure that's free in the Second Life Marketplace. I'll see if I can find it, but there's no need to actually make that because I think that exists I think it's free, so let me check that for you.
Right. Well, I found a kind of template for a straightforward hedge-type maze, which, I thought it would be quite easy to build out of planks, slabs, but anyway.
Brilliant.
So some people might want to create asynchronous activities where people can come and use them and no one needs to be there. But in our case, we use ours are classroom materials.
Mm.
And they just make for more interesting grammar classes and vocabulary classes. Instead of sitting around the table, you know, looking at posters.
Well, I sort of imagined it as a class activity in pairs with a little bit of competition to see who could be the first
Sure.
to find the right answers. But
the one I
Or
found.
then they come back with a bunch of answers, and some are right and some are wrong, and the person who gets the team with the right answers, the most right
Yeah.
answers, would win. So you can do all
Yeah.
kinds of that.
there's something like that. Yeah.
Carol, what were you saying?
The steampunk maze that is glass on top isn't free, sadly. It's 1,200 lindens. But I mean, you can res it a million times.
Well, I seem to have 4,284 lindens. I don't know how it happened. I must have. I think when I was, you know, for the Aladdin UK,
yeah,
I must have put in some money to try and get that very fancy costume, and so anyway, I've got a bit of money, but I was going to try and build one, you know, just with bits of hedge.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I built one a long time ago just out of bits of hedge. It's great fun. But as I say, this is a ready-made maze with the choice. You touch it once and it's a complete covered ceiling, or touch it again and it goes glass, and you can lead your partner through it.
Right, well, that sounds, you know, would save a lot of effort.
Well, I've got that. If you want to have a look at it any time, just let me know. I can certainly res it and show you. I can't give it to you. It's non-copy,
yeah.
but I can... I mean, it is copy, but it's not transfer, but I can show you before you decide.
Yeah, and where could I find it if I wanted to buy it?
I just posted, let me post it again. There's a maze generator there that Quirinus has just shared. This is where that's...
Only 49. Oh. Somebody's found.